Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone and welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. My name is Jake Watroba and joining me today is the one and only Arman Kafai. Steven Jodran has the night off. On today's episode, we recap Sunday's MLS action as well as look ahead to Decision Day 2019. You can follow the show on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod. We always enjoy your feedback and comments, so continue to send them in. Please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, leave us a 5-star review. Now, Arman, crazy day of MLS yesterday. A lot has happened since we spoke in the last 24 hours. How are you doing? What's going on? You excited for Decision Day 2019?
I am. I'm always excited for Decision Day, and it's always a lot more fun when you're actually in the stadium. I know last year Dallas was playing, and they weren't. They were away playing at Colorado. And the feel isn't there because on Decision Day you're like panicking. You're like, "Yo, what's going on? What's new scenario?" You're like all the people in the press box have like phones up, like they're looking at ESPN Plus or at Time MLS Live. Oh, what's happening here? What's happening here? Boom, 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 and it's a really fun experience. There's a bunch of hectic stuff. You see players looking around like not knowing what they would do. Like, hot take, I really wish the NFL would do this, a Decision Day on the last day of the regular season instead of have their normal setup or something like that. I would love to see the chaos amongst NFL fans with a Decision Day-esque format.
Hotter take, I wish MLS would schedule more of their games at the same time. Kind of what we see in England where you have the early game and then you have the 5 or 6 matches, I guess, at 9 o'clock or whatever time zone you're in. You have the middle chunk of the triple header, and then you close out with the afternoon or the late game on Saturday. I wish MLS would do that more often, just so we consistently had a slate of games going on at the same time, rather than this game starts at 6:30, this game starts at 7, this is at 8:30, so on and so forth. I really enjoy the spectacle that is Decision Day, where everybody's playing at once. Everybody who's still in it feels like they have a chance still. There's scoreboard watching going on. There's no games that, because this game ended 2 hours ago, now this other game doesn't mean anything, like you were saying in the NFL, where you might have a game that's, was from the noon slates of games that ended that, ended up deciding the fate of one of the teams that was playing at 3 o'clock. So I really do enjoy that MLS does Decision Day this way. But listeners, we are going to recap yesterday's action, and then we're also going to look ahead to Decision Day 2019. And Arman, you had your eyes glued to the TV yesterday. You also had them glued to Cowboys Saints. However, what did we see Sunday in MLS?
First off, in the East, we saw the Revs clinch a playoff spot. Unbelievable job by Bruce Arena's staff. Gustavo Bo with a brilliant chip laid on over Sean Johnson to secure a 2-0 victory over NYCFC. But NYCFC still clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with Philadelphia's 2-0 loss to Columbus Crew. Go figure. Atlanta's draw also helped with that. Red Bull DC, the Fox game that was flexed, not really a flex, a 0-0 draw. TFC also drew Chicago 2-2, and now that 4 through 6 spots are looking like a big dogfight between these teams. In the West, Jake, you were at Minnesota LAFC. Fun game, great atmosphere. Pitch looked terrible, but fun game. 1-1 draw between the 1 seed and the 2 seed in the West. Seattle scores late off a San Jose error. Jordan Morris in stoppage time to give them a 1-0 victory. The Galaxy, I mean, what on earth happened at the end of that play? They lost to the lowly Vancouver Whitecaps 4-3, blowing a chance to hop into the top 2. Yikes. Real Salt Lake clinched their playoff spot with a strong performance. And the Western Conference, guys, spots 6 through 7 are still up for grabs. FCD losing to Colorado 3-0. San Jose losing to Seattle. Portland drawing SKC in a wild affair. And Jake, the best part is the Colorado Rapids are still alive and, to be honest, have a kind of realistic shot at making the playoffs if some results go their way.
You just love to see it, don't you? Because that was your team. That was the team you said was the team to watch this year, or the team you were most interested in watching when we started this campaign. And here we are, the final week of the season, after we mocked, we ridiculed you about how terrible the Rapids were, and here they are with an outside chance of making the Western Conference playoffs.
I mean, look, they are a good team talent-wise. They have good pieces. The problem was their coaching was really bad, and credit to Connor Casey as well, who stayed the ship until Robin Fraser was able to come in and provide some. They look night and day, from what they were when I was watching them earlier in the season. They look strong. They look like they have an identity. They look like they know what they're doing. They put teams on their back. Jack Price, such an underrated midfielder with his set piece ability. Kai Kamara is coming alive. Look, I think we had Sam Stejskal on the show. I think either before season or a couple of weeks in, and he said that the Rapids were a team that they could be interesting in the future, and they have a good amount of solid pieces around them. They're a good team, man. I don't think their talent was that bad, and I mean, look, if some results go their way, they're gonna be in. Well, I mean, they're honestly, and this is my take from Sunday's events, they're the hottest team in the Western Conference right now. 4 wins out of the last 5. Big wins against teams like a Seattle and a Red Bull. The Galaxy, too. You can't tell me the Rapids aren't deserving of that last spot. Sure, they've had a bad start of the season. But, I mean, that's why those games kind of matter. But this upward swing, all it needs is an FC Dallas loss, a San Jose loss, and a win by a goal, and they're in. They're in. That's crazy. Now they have to play LAFC. It's a difficult game. But that they have an outside chance of getting in is remarkable. It's credit to Robin Fraser and her staff. But Jake, what do you take away from what happened? I mean, I know you were at Minnesota LAFC, like I mentioned, but what do you take away from the events that happened on Sunday?
Before I answer that question, I want to ask you this about the Rapids.
Oh.
If you're a team like Minnesota, if you're a team like Seattle, if you're a team like the Galaxy, are the Rapids the one team you do not want to see slide in to that 7th seed in the Western Conference when it's all said and done next weekend?
Yes, I would be terrified of the Rapids. I'm not even joking. They are playing very good football. Some of their wins have been at home. Maybe you can asterisk around that Seattle win because Seattle was very shorthanded. But I would not want to play them. No. Even if I was in Minnesota United, they have new life, Jake. When a team has new life, new identity, they want to prove to the world they're wrong. They're the team. We always talk about that one team that gets really hot late on and wins MLS Cup. I don't think they'll even get close to the MLS Cup, but I think they could scare a team in the first round easily and have an upset and go into the second round. I think they can. Honestly, I'm not even joking. I think they can pull off an upset over a team like a Minnesota. Even a Galaxy without, I don't even know what the Galaxy have been doing 90% of the time, but yes, I think that I would be very scared of the Rapids relative to an FC Dallas or a San Jose Earthquakes.
Well, the Galaxy, they look a little exposed right now after last week's loss to the Vancouver Whitecaps. This is what I take away from this past weekend's action. How in the hell did the LA Galaxy lose at home to the Vancouver Whitecaps, Arman? What a missed opportunity for the Galaxy to just take a stranglehold of the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. You beat the Whitecaps, Minnesota and LAFC draw, you would have slid into second, you would have controlled your own destiny, you had a game to close out the season against the Houston Dynamo, a team you should beat, but then again, they didn't beat last year at home when it really mattered. And you just take a dump right on the midfield right there. You just take a big old dump at home against the lowly Vancouver Whitecaps. And I'm going to read some things from Zlatan Ibrahimovic here post-match. Zlatan was quoted as saying, "Very disappointing because this is not what we wanted. We wanted a good ending in the regular season, and this reminds me of the last game last season. We weren't in the playoffs last year. That's the only difference. It was not a good game from us. Total opposite. Bad game already from the start. We do so many mistakes. We didn't even deserve to get points from this game." That's a pretty harsh last line there, Arman.
Jake, you see the last goal was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in a soccer game. I'm not even exaggerating. I couldn't believe it. It was like a jailbreak. It was the easiest goal you could score for the Whitecaps. It was like an error, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there has to be a defender behind the Galaxy defender who made the mistake. There was no one. Literally no one. They pushed up. It was the 94th minute. Take the draw. You've been going up and down this entire game. You go 52 points, then what? You're in a lot better position than you are at 51. Like, the
Arman,
Galaxy do concern me, man.
Arman, what's the one thing we've said about the Galaxy that has concerned us or given us pause to say this team can make a run in the Western Conference?
Defense?
It's their defending. And like you said, case in point, the fourth goal by the Whitecaps, where was the defending? Where was everybody? Is that a coaching decision to push everybody forward late in that game?
I guess it has to be, because I can't think of any other reason why. If it is a dumb coaching decision, like it was a literal jailbreak. There's really just acres of grass. Like,
if you're the Galaxy, you really can't afford to drop points at home. You can't. I mean, in that situation, you probably don't want to tie, but you really can't afford to lose to the Vancouver Whitecaps at home. What the hell was that? Unbelievable finish to that game. It was crazy. I was walking out of the Minnesota United match, and I'm on the concourse, and there's TVs in the concourse, and the TVs all switched to whatever it was showing Minnesota United related and flipped on the LA Galaxy Vancouver Whitecaps match, and I had to stop in my tracks to really make sure what I was seeing was true, that it was the Whitecaps 4, Galaxy 3. So that result has left the door wide open for some crazy storylines going into next weekend, Decision Day 2019. Minnesota and Seattle are essentially playing for second place in the Western Conference. The winner of that match will take sole possession of second place. Portland and San Jose are essentially playing for a playoff spot. That's a playoff game, a play-in game. Love to see that. Dallas can clinch with a win over SKC or a draw, depending on some other results. If Minnesota and Seattle draw and the Galaxy beat the Houston Dynamo, the Galaxy will jump into second place. RSL has the opportunity to host a playoff game. They would need the LA Galaxy to drop points against the Dynamo and then beat the Whitecaps themselves. And like we've said, the Rapids, they can still make it. They just need Dallas to lose. They need San Jose to lose. They need to score a couple of goals against LAFC and get a win. Bam, they're in. It's crazy to think about. Now, Arman, take us through what's happening in the East. What are the storylines in the Eastern Conference next weekend?
So the Union and NYCFC play. Atlanta and New England play. Plain and simple, for Atlanta and Philadelphia, it's a battle for the second seed in the Eastern Conference and home field throughout the semifinals. Then, like I talked about earlier, it's that 4-6 battle between DC, Red Bull, and Toronto. DC playing FC Cincinnati, but without Wayne Rooney. Montreal and the Red Bulls playing. Toronto and Columbus playing. depending on how those results shake out, one team could be hosting, the other team could be on the road. It's going to be a very interesting couple of matches going on in the Eastern Conference, but not as intense as the West.
No, the West is crazy. The West is wide open, too. Like, you have 4 teams vying for 2 spots. And, Arman, I want to ask you this. Since everything is figured out for the most part in the East, in the West, who do you see taking the second seed?
I'm going Galaxy. I think Seattle and Minnesota will draw. I think they will draw, and the Galaxy will pull out like a nervy 2-1 victory over Houston, and they'll jump into second place with that draw, and everyone will be like, what the hell? How'd this happen? Like, they're really bad, but they're somehow the second seed in the Western Conference, excuse me. And they'll be licking their chops. Well, I take that back. They will not be licking their chops if they have to play the San Jose Earthquakes, because I think they'll lose. But no, I have a feeling it might be the Galaxy. I think Seattle and Minnesota will end up drawing that game.
And for me, I think it's Seattle. I think Seattle gets a win against Minnesota United. I think Minnesota United missed their opportunity to really grab the bull by the horns for the second seed earlier this weekend with the 1-1 draw to LAFC. I really feel like they should have won that match. There was a ton of missed opportunities by striker Angelo Rodriguez in the second half to secure that game for Minnesota United. And for me, I have a hard time seeing Seattle lose at home in the final match of the season. Now, listeners, let's get to our question of the day at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. The Eastern Conference is all but decided, minus the seeding, but there are still 4 teams in the West vying for 2 spots. Who's in and who's out? Arman, who do you have?
Jake, I think you took the thunder from me I'm looking at the document right now. I do have Portland FC Dallas as well. It's been a valiant effort from the Rapids, but I think they'll end up drawing or losing to LAFC. I'm not really sold on San Jose. I think they'll lose on the road to Portland. I think Dallas will secure a 1-1 draw against SKC. And with the San Jose loss, that essentially guarantees them a playoff spot with a draw, which means Dallas is going to come in on the very cold end of the spectrum. But hey, get it. You just got to get in, baby.
Yeah, for me, Portland FC Dallas. I do not see any circumstance. Maybe this is naive of me to assume this, but it's a play-in game for the Timbers and the Earthquakes, and really all the Timbers need to do is just get a draw. Get a draw at home, and they're in. I don't see how they lose to the San Jose Earthquake at home, and I also don't see how FC Dallas lose at home to Sporting Kansas City, a team that has already been eliminated from the playoffs. I just can't see a scenario in which that happens and they're on the outside looking in. Sorry, Colorado Rapids. I would love to see you guys sneak in at the very last moment. Cinderella story, if you will. But for me, my money, it's the Timbers and FC Dallas. Listeners, let us know your thoughts at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. Now, Arman, before we get to your 2 stars and 1 catfish, I wanted to ask you this, because I saw this on Twitter today, and I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to kind of get you going, because I think this question will get you going. Is Adrian Heath the favorite to win MLS Coach of the Year?
Absolutely not. Delete that out of your mentions right now, please. Absolutely not.
Think about it, though.
If anything, no. If anything, it should be Manny Lagos winning Technical Director or Sporting Director of the Year. The squad that Lagos has assembled has been great. I mean, I think personally, the Coach of the Year should go to Bob Bradley. The way the LAFC team has been functioning and the way they've been dominating opponents, their goal difference. Sure, they may not have like the best point total in MLS history. Doesn't matter. They're the best team in MLS history by far. No cap, as the young kids will say.
No Bruce Arena mentioned there? No Bruce Arena at all?
Bruce Arena did a good job, but he's not Coach of the Year. No, but Adrian Heath, Jake, it bugs me because I don't think he's a good coach. I stand by that. I don't think he's that good of a coach. But I'm going to give credit where credit's due because Manny Lagos has done the reverse FC Dallas. So, for those who don't know, FC Dallas has not that good of a team, and they've been kind of getting coached up by Luchi Gonzalez. Manny Lagos has given a team to Adrian Heath. They know what Heath can coach down a little bit, and it's okay. The team is so good. The pieces they've acquired are so good. Ike Opara, Ozzy Alonso, the draft, they hit on Dotson and Chase Gasper. I think Gasper's a little overrated and Dotson should start over him, but that's a different story. Mentonier has been really good. We can go down a list. Mason Toy was a hit, and that's under Lagos, and that was last year's draft. Quintero was a great signing for so cheap. I think Manny Lagos should deserve some love for Sporting Director of the Year. I do not. I feel like the MLS media darlings though will have some votes for Heath to be Manager of the Year, but I don't agree with it. I think it should go to Bob Bradley personally. And that's how I'll be voting as well.
It's interesting you say that because you can argue Minnesota United might have the goalkeeper of the year in Vito Manone. They might have the defender of the year in Ike Opara, and they might have the rookie of the year in Hassani Dotson. And here you are essentially saying Adrian Heath has coached them down. So you are essentially saying they potentially have these 3 award winners, and you were saying they should be much better than what they've shown. I think they should be
better. I'm completely serious with you.
I knew that question would get you going though.
Yeah, but it got you going in a different way. You're a little surprised, yeah?
I'm a little surprised. I wasn't expecting that from you, but I knew I saw it on Twitter and I thought, I gotta ask Arman this, but I can't ask it to a text. I gotta blindside him with it to get his reaction. So
I love the Loons. I love everything about them. Get a better coach. You'll be competing for MLS Cup.
Well, there you have it. Now, Arman, before we wrap up, it's time for your 2 stars and 1 catfish. Who do we have for this week?
First star, Vela, 31 goals on the year. Phenomenal season. Phenomenal. My second star is Gustavo Bo. Oh my goodness, that chip. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. I almost shed a tear halfway through. In my catfish, LA Galaxy's defense. You really can't be that bad. Seriously, you really can't be that bad. But I guess they are.
I don't even know if the Galaxy defense is really a catfish, because we've been talking about they're just not that good defensively, and I don't feel like that was much of a catfish. I think we knew what we were getting going in to that match. But I guess
but against the Whitecaps?
Hey, anything is possible. Anything is possible with that team. Like I said, that's the team that just needed I think they just needed a draw against the Dynamo last year, and they lost. And that's why they didn't play in the playoffs. But anyway, listeners, that's it for today's show. If you haven't already, please go back and listen to Monday's episode where we talked a little Christian Pulisic and Chelsea. As always, question of the day at UncSam Soccer Pod. Who's in and who's out in the Western Conference? 4 teams playing for 2 spots. Who gets in? FC Dallas, Portland, San Jose, or Colorado? You can follow the show on Twitter at UncSam Soccer Pod. You can follow Arman Kafai at Arman Kafai. You can follow Steven Jodaran at Steven Jodaran. And you can follow myself at Jake Watroba. For Arman, I'm Jake. We'll talk to you guys next time.